Come to standing, feet hip width apart. Lift your toes and then put them down one at a time to spread them out. Lift and roll your shoulders. Press your feet into the ground. Just turn your head gently from side to side. And bring your attention to the base of the spine, which is almost at the tailbone. And imagine the colour red. Then move up a little bit at the top of your tailbone and imagine the colour orange. Move up a little bit further to the navel and imagine the colour yellow in this area, connected to your digestive system. Move up to the chest area and imagine the colour. In some traditions it's pink, in some traditions it's green. So choose a colour. Pink traditionally, pink quartz. Come with your attention up to the throat and the neck area, the colour blue. And then come to the third eye, the little dent between the eyebrows, the Ajna centre, and imagine the colour indigo. And then come right to the top of the head and imagine the colour. Again, you've got a choice. You can imagine a golden light or a white light, a silvery colour. Drop your hands. Step with your feet a little bit wider and just go gently from side to side. This moves through all the energies of the body. There are 5 of them in this Eastern tradition. So think of leading with your navel. And you can lift your heels. And then start to slow the movement down. And then come to gently swaying from side to side. And come to the centre, bring your feet to hip width apart again. Bring your hands to your heart centre and press your palms together. And then breathing in, raising your hands up. Either looking ahead or if your neck allows, look up. Breathing out, bring your hands down through the centre to touch either the ground or your shins. Breathe in, straighten your legs, lengthen along your tailbone, from tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe out, soften your knees, soften your elbows. And then breathing in as you press your feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders. Bring your hands to the heart centre again. Circle your hands up. Stretch your fingers. Bring your hands together. Come down through the centre. Bending your knees all the way to the earth. Your hands touch the ground. Breathing in, lengthen along your tailbone, your knees straighten a little bit. Breathe out, bend your knees and bend your elbows. Breathe in, press your feet down equally and evenly as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders. Come to the top of your mat. Feet hip width apart. Breathe in, breathe out, hands together at the heart centre. Breathe in, hands up, almost stretch back, looking either ahead or back. Breathing out, lowering down with your hands to the earth. Inhale, step your right foot back, lengthen it, heel up, and then right knee goes down to the ground. And then left foot comes back. Inhaling, dip your back, cat. Breathing out, round your back, chin to chest, cow, and begin to bring your bottom towards your heels, stretching out. Come back to kneeling or tabletop. Tuck your toes and come into a soft plank, straight line, and then straight away bring your knees to the ground. Drop your tailbone to the ground and lift your heart up, looking ahead or up. And then breathing out, lower yourself completely onto the ground and stretch your hands out in front of you. Take an in and an out breath. Slide your hands back to press on the ground, elbows in, and come back up to kneeling, tabletop, and then come through to tucking your toes and coming into a downward dog. Feel free to adjust your feet and your width of your feet as you now walk the dog, just gently rocking from side to side. Really bend one knee and extend the other leg. And then change over as you bend the other knee. Stretch both legs back. Bring both knees to the ground. Hands go to the left. Bring up your right foot. Hands either side now of your right foot. And just stretch forward. Feeling this in your thigh. Come back to your right knee being to right angles over your foot. Tuck your left toes. Bring in your tummy, your abdominal area. Engage your perineum. To lift up your left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Pressing your hands onto your knees as you lengthen from tailbone to the top of the head. Soften your knees as you bend in, and then press your knees into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And then carry on to raise your hands up above you, stretch your fingers, and lower your hands back down alongside you. Lift and roll your shoulders and clasp your hands behind you, aiming your knuckles to the ground. Opening your shoulders and opening your lung meridians. Release your hands and slide your hands down the backs of your legs to the ground. Soften your knees as you step your left or slide your left foot back, keeping it high for the moment, and then bringing the left knee to the ground. Slide the right knee back so that you're in tabletop. Cat as you dip your back, looking either forward or up. And cow as you round chin to chest. And bring your bottom towards your heels as you stretch your arms out in front of you in extended child. Come back to kneeling in tabletop. Tuck both feet and come into a soft plank. A straight line, your heels are up. Bring your knees straight away to the ground. Drop your tailbone towards the mat and lift up through the heart. Looking ahead or up, you choose. And then come to lying and stretch your arms out in front of you. Your toes stretch behind you. Slide your hands back, elbows in as you press down on your hands, coming back to kneeling, coming to tuck your toes and coming into your downward dog. Feel free to adjust your feet to make them wider. Keep your knees bent to however much you need to and walk the dog by bending one knee and then the other knee, and you can sway your hips from side to side. Then bend both knees to the ground. Hands go to the right, your left foot comes up. Hands either side of your left foot. Just stretch into that left thigh. Bring your left knee back to a right angle to tuck your right toes under. Lift your right knee and step your right foot to your left foot. Press your hands either into your shins or along your ankles to lengthen your spine from tailbone to the top of the head as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, bend your knees, elbows to the side. Press your feet down as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing, raising your hands up. Stretch your thumbs towards your face and your little fingers away from you, and then breathing out, lower your hands back down to the ground. And then lift and roll your shoulders. Bring your hands to the heart center and roll down to a seated position. You can have a blanket or a bolster underneath you, that's handy. We're going to sit just for a few breaths in a comfortable cross-legged position. So make sure your spine is straight. Just slightly tuck your chin in towards your chest, and this lengthens the back of your neck. And then just maybe lift up a little bit to be comfortable. And just notice your breath as you're breathing in and out. Your hands can be relaxed, palms up, one resting in the other. You can have your hands on your knees, palms down, or turned up. I'm now taking a deep breath in through the nose and breathing out either through the mouth or through the nose. Once more, breathing in deeply and breathing out through the nose or through the mouth. And breathing in and breathing out. Staying seated as you breathe in, raise the arms up above you, palms touch. Breathing out, bring your hands back down through the center. Breathing in, raising your hands in a circle upwards. Start to breathe out and then bring your hands through the center to your heart center. Finish the movement and then finish the breath. Again, as we're raising the hands up, breathing out through the center. And breathing in, raising the hands up, and come back through to the center. Rest your hands on your knees and raise your eyes upwards, about 20 degrees or up towards your eyebrows. And this is the fastest, or one of the fastest ways to move your brain waves from the beta waves to the alpha waves, which induce creativity and inspiration, and the brain wave patterns just subtly alter. There are various counting exercises that you can do, counting from 50 back down to 0 with your eyes up, and then repeating that to really get your brain into a relaxed state. My understanding is that lifting your eyes disconnects the the eyes from the stress centers of the brain, and as I said, brings your mind into a calm state. So just sit up, release that gaze, and just touch your hands either side of you. You can stay on a bolster or blanket or come off at this point if that is better for you. And breathing in, raising your right hand up, sliding your left hand away from you, chin tucks in, and feel the stretch on your right side. Tummy in as you come upright, just connect both hands to the ground, and then sliding your right hand away as you lift your left hand up. And come back to where we began, and then once more, each side in your own time. And then bring your hands to walk them forward slightly, to come into your forward bend. You don't have to bring your hands very far forward. Have a sense of lengthening along your spine before you fold forward. So any forward movement is calming to the nervous system. And you're aiming for the back of your neck to be long, so your chin tucks in. And tucking the chin in also activates something called the vagus nerve. And this is brilliant for anti-inflammatory, or for increasing the anti-inflammatory, for de-inflammation, among other things. And having the chin forward like this, you can hold your breath for longer, which is always something that's fascinated me. Come to walk your hands back, and then come to roll over onto your knees, and come once more to tabletop position where we do cat and cow. So hands are hip width apart, press down your thumb and second finger in particular. Knees are so hands are shoulder width apart, knees are hip width apart. Breathing in, dipping your back, looking either along the floor or up, depending on where your neck is. Breathing out, rounding, chin comes to chest. Breathing in, dipping your back, looking up. Breathing out, rounding, chin to chest. Again, breathing in, dipping your back. Breathing out, rounding, chin to chest. Breathing in, dipping your back. Rounding your back, chin to chest, and bring your bottom towards your heels towards your bottom, stretching out in the extended child's pose. Come back to tabletop. Dipping your back, cat, rounding your back, chin to chest, and then bringing your bottom towards your heels as you stretch out in extended child's pose. And once more, dipping your back, cat, rounding your back, chin to chest, and bringing your bottom towards your heels in child's pose. Coming back to tabletop, and then tucking your toes underneath you, and just stay like this for a moment. The toes are being stretched, and you're opening again your lung meridians, but just above that your sinus channels, they are in between the feet. And then if you can stay like this, or if you want to put yourself through what I would describe as exquisite agony, then just come back to walking your hands up and just putting your weight. If that's too much, come back to where you were, and maybe just opening out your little toes so that they're being opened. But as I said, if this is absolute agony, then just come back. We're only going to stay here for an in and an out breath. And I can see already I'm not pushing my full weight, I'm not sitting upright, that's really agony. And then walking your hands back to tabletop. Take your right hand and move your right hand so the right fingers are pointing towards your right knee, so you're reversing your hand. It's quite a different stretch on your wrist. If that's not going, then just lift your wrist up slightly. And while you're here, just make tiny circles with your hip. It's moving in one direction. So there are different energy meridians running along the outside and the inside of the arm. So you're working something you don't normally work. And strengthening the wrists as well. And then reverse your circle with your hips in the other direction. And then walk your hand back. Just sway your hips from side to side and then turn your left hand so that the left hand fingers are facing your left knee. And the same thing, just make little circles in one direction. And then make little circles in the other direction. And then just reverse your hand. Bring your big toes together, open your knees, and you're coming into a wide-legged child's pose, stretching your hands in front of you. And now slightly come up, bring your knees more to hip width apart. Keep your bottom up and come into puppy pose where you walk your hands forward and you're stretching into the upper back, the thoracic area. So it's a slightly different back emphasis here. And then walk your hands back and come to tuck your toes and come into a very soft downward dog, lifting your heels, pressing back. Adjust your feet any way you'd like to and walk the dog, swaying your hips from side to side. Your thumb and second finger should be pressing down to support you. The inside of the elbows are really facing each other to secure your tops of your shoulders inwards and to protect your shoulders. You're not putting any additional weight. Feel that your bottom is moving away from your wrists so that the weight is off your front hands, which might mean bending your knees a little bit more. And feel that you're lengthening all the way along your spine so your bottom's high. And then bend both knees and walk very gently your feet to your hands to your feet. And come into a ragdoll position, softening your knees. Your hands, depending on your length, can either be on the ground or you can hold your elbows and just gently sway from side to side. And then pressing your feet down as you roll up, let your hands drop vertebra by vertebra, coming slowly up to standing. And carrying on inhaling, really stretch your hands up into almost a back bend, looking either ahead or up depending on your neck capacity, and then releasing your hands. Just circle your wrists to get that movement that we did, reversing the wrists back, and open and close your fingers. And then take the thumb of one hand and massage the palm, which represents the solar plexus. So in Eastern philosophy, the solar plexus area is your core. It's part of your defense against disease. In ancient old days, also the enemy. And this is replicating this on your hand. And then take your thumb and just massage your palm on the other side. And this can be very sort of soothing, of course, at any time. And then just release your hands, raise your hands up, stretch up, and then swan dive as you bend down, rolling down. Hands touch the ground or your shins as you lengthen along your spine. Soften your knees, press your feet down as you roll up to standing. Hands up again, stretch your fingers, and then swan dive, rolling down. Inhaling, lengthen your spine. Breathing out, soften your knees, soften your elbows, and then pressing your feet down as you inhale, rolling up to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders. Come to the top of the mat. Inhaling, raising your hands up, stretch your fingers. Breathing out, roll down, bending your knees. Hands either side of your feet. And step your right foot back. Right knee goes on the ground. Just enjoy the stretch in the hip. And then take your right hand to the inside of your left foot, so opposite, parallel to your left foot. And bring your left hand on your left waist. You can stay here, or you can reverse twist, just lift up in a twist. So your hands, the aim is to get the hands away from one another. And you can come up on your fingers if that helps. And then reverse your hand back down to the ground, your left hand. And then extend your left leg, kneeling or bringing your bottom back to your heels so that your left leg extends and your left toes go up to the ceiling. And then you can soften your left knee and just slightly nod forwards, bending over the left knee. And then coming back again, walking your hands back. And then just releasing your left knee back down to the earth, into tabletop again. Just wave your bottom or move it from side to side. And then step your right foot up, hands either side of the right foot. Just settle in here. And then bringing your left hand opposite your right foot. Your right hand can go into your right waist. Just almost press into the crease just to pull your right hip back. You can open up to the right, or you can carry on, lifting up your right arm so that you're in a twist. If this is too much, then keep your hand on your right waist, opening your shoulder, pulling your elbow back, and then breathing out, hands either side of your right foot. Just enjoy the stretch forward, and then come to bring your bottom towards the back of the mat as you extend your right leg, right toes go up. Stretching out the whole of the back of the leg. You can soften your right knee as you just look forward slightly, and then breathing out. Come forward, and then bring your right knee back to tabletop, and then just gently sway your bottom from side to side. Walk your hands forward so that the chest or the heart is coming forward and your tailbone is dropping towards the ground. Pick your feet up and cross your ankles. You can slightly move your feet from side to side. And then you can cross the ankles the other way. And then just uncross the ankles. Come to lying on the mat. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So elbows are in front of you, hands on the ground. You're pressing your elbows and your hands into the ground to lengthen your spine and almost feel that you're pulling yourself forward, and then relax and release. And look just along the mat or along the floor. Your chin slightly tucked in. So this is a back bend, but a very gentle back bend. And then very gently bring your forehead to the ground. You'll slide your hands back. Press your hands into the ground, elbows in, and then come back to kneeling. And just basically wave your bottom from side to side. And this time move your hands to the left to bring your right foot up. Feel that you can move your right foot to the edge of the mat as you kneel up. And turn to the right, so my right hand is on my right waist, so my left hand is on my left thigh. And breathing in and out, just lengthen as you turn. You can stay like this, or you can open your arms. That's harder. If that's too much, then just go back to the first expression of hand on the waist. And then come back to facing forwards and breathing in, raising your arms up, looking ahead or up, stretch your fingers. Breathing out, lower your hands, palms open upwards, salute to the moon. And then come forward with your hands either side of your right foot and slide your right foot back. Just sway your bottom from side to side. As you move your hands now to the right and bring your left foot up. Hands either side of your left foot. Feel that you can move your left foot out more to the edge of the mat. Press your left foot into the ground as you kneel up. And right hand on the outside of the left thigh, left hand on your left waist as you lengthen your spine on the inhalation and breathing out, turn. So you can stay like this, or you can explore opening your hands. It's a much harder variation. Come back to hands on the waist, and then just come to the center, raise your hands up, looking either ahead or up, and then lowering your hands and opening the palms up in the moon salute. And then coming forward, hands either side of your left foot, and then slide the left foot back. Again, sway from side to side with your hips. And then bring your bottom back towards your heels and come very briefly to sit in a cross-legged position again. As we breathe in, raising the arms up, clasp, reverse, lift up, and then breathing out. Lower your hands in front of you, pushing out, and then just release. And lift and roll the shoulders. Just turn your head gently from side to side. Breathe in as you turn your head to the left. If you can't do that, don't worry. And breathing out as you turn your head to the right. In to the left and out to the right. And then in to the left and out to the right. Bring your head to the centre and now come to just touch your hands on the ground. So you're going to come to the mat, lying down, and we're going to come to a variation of bridge pose. So in your own time, roll down, your feet are hip width apart and your knees are also, of course, hip width apart, facing the ceiling. Just feel that you're adjusting yourself. Palms down for the moment. Just sway knees from side to side. So for this version of the bridge, I'm going to invite you to hold the mat. So your thumb is on top of the mat, your fingers are underneath it, and you're almost pushing the mat towards your feet, which opens your shoulders up. Keep that hold as you press your feet down and gently lift up into a bridge. Just check that your knees aren't splaying out. Come up as little as much as you would like. And holding the mat almost secures your position. Take an in and an out breath as you're up in bridge, and then very gently lower down as you breathe out, vertebra by vertebra, back onto the mat. And your tailbone is the last, obviously lower back's the last thing to connect with the mat. Just take an in and an out breath. Release your hold and grip of the mat, palms down this time. And when you're ready, press your feet into the ground, lift your bottom, but also now lift your elbows and arms, stretching them above you. Your chin tucks very much into your chest here as you lift up. And breathing out, lower your arms and your back, your vertebra, back down to the mat. And last time, as you press your feet into the ground, lift your bottom, lift your arms. They can be bent at the elbows and then stretch out afterwards if you want to, or keep them bent. And then breathing out, roll down vertebra by vertebra, back down onto the floor. And then hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. Just very gently rocking from side to side. And then bring your feet back down to the earth and cross your right leg over your left. Your hands can be on your abdomen or palms down on the ground, and just let both knees drift over to the left. Your hands now, your right hand can be on your waist, your left hand can be out or above your head, or just keep your hands on your abdomen level. And turn your head either looking up or away from your knees. Engage your abdomen to bring your knees back. And open your right knee out to the right as you lift your left foot and clasp either underneath your left thigh or your left knee in front of you. It's a reclined pigeon. Extend your right heel to engage the outer right hip. And you can lift your left foot towards your face. That will feel that more. Just take a couple of breaths here. And then release pigeon by unwrapping your legs, hugging your knees into your chest as you rock from side to side. And then you can either bring your feet back down to the earth or just cross your left leg over your right. Bring your right foot to the ground and then let your knees drop to the right. Your head will go to the left. Your left elbow can be on your waist, or you can have both elbows, both hands on your abdomen. Raise your right hand up above you. You can also have your right hand on your left thigh and just open out your left arm totally. And then very gently engage lower abdomen and perineum to support you, your core supporting as you come back upright. And slide your left ankle on top of your right leg, lift your right foot, recline pigeon, hug underneath your right leg or hold the knee of the right knee and just open out your figure of four. Flex or extend your left heel. And then release, hug your knees into the chest again as you rock from side to side. Slide your hands down your shins and come to happy baby. So hands underneath the soles of the feet up to the ceiling and knees down towards you. And happy baby, you can either stay static or you can gently rock from side to side. And then bring the feet in together. Hold your ankles now so that you're almost doing supine cobblers, but your feet are off the ground. Just to open the inner thighs this time. And then slide your hands up your legs to the outside of your knees. Bring your knees together, hugging them into your chest. And this time, hug your knees into your chest as you breathe out. And as you breathe in, still holding your knees, let them drift away from you to arm's length. Hug knees into the chest. Let them drift away to arm's length. Hug knees into the chest. And let them drift away to arm's length. Hug them into the chest and let them drift away to arm's length. And then very gently bring your feet back down to the ground. You're in feet on the ground, hip width apart, knees up to the ceiling. Just very gently sway your feet from side to side, your knees from side to side. And then roll over to your right side or rock up to come to a seated position. And hands on your knees, so the hands are upright, facing upwards. And just for a few breaths, we're going to touch the thumb to the second finger, third finger, thumb to the fourth finger, and thumb to the little finger. And then back to the beginning. Thumb to the second finger is sa, thumb to the third finger is ta, thumb to the fourth finger is na, and thumb to the fifth finger is ma, M-A. So sa to the second finger, ta, third finger, na, thumb to fourth finger, ma, fifth finger. And we'll just do a few of those. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. Just gently lower your chin towards your chest again, just to make sure that the back of the neck is extended. As you take in an out breath, bring your thought to, your attention to a thought for the day, your sankalpa, Whatever that is, mentally think of it again a couple of times to set the intention for the day. And then just very gently bring your hands to your heart, chin to the chest. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. Thank you.